this way we have that option. Just
Yeah. I know it used to.
Sneaking up behind you. Don't mind me. It's
yeah. So I'm just at least when we have one, and then if it works, it works, and we'll do it.
all right.
The other way.
Uh-huh.
Define kinesiology.
How's everybody doing?
Hi.
Welcome. And then listen, get my water to be big help.
Yep.
Thank you so much. So I'm Dr. Tomasetti, and I'm glad you're here. You're here for the neuropathy workshop? Yeah? Okay. You're here for him. Thanks for supporting him. That's huge. No, seriously. It really is. Yeah. So a little about me. Sometimes my voice gets tight. It's been a long day talking. If you need me to repeat something, let me know. I'm happy to repeat it. Make sure you get the information you're here for today. Is that fair? Awesome. So here's what I love. These are the stories we get to be a part of. Just regular people like you that have been, sitting in your shoes, literally. And here's the stories we get to be a part of. Before I was in pain, 2 treatments down, and I have some balance. Most of the pain on my right side is gone, and my left side is improving. Who's been told you have to learn to live with neuropathy? It's like a forever sentence, and it doesn't get better. Yeah, one of you. Anyone else heard that too? Yeah, it's like, yeah, just deal with it.
Client of mine.
Aligners. Yeah. So that's kind of the thing. So we're going to show you, before I get to my family, there's 3 major pieces to getting it better. And we're going to go through that together, and I'm going to show you in real time. Somebody's going to get a treatment today. No charge for that. We're just going to show you a demonstration. You're like, pick him. Awesome. She's already volunteering. Greg, I love it. And we're going to see, show you what's possible in real time. Okay, so just hang in there for that. I'm a local guy born at Holy Spirit Hospital, went away to school, came back to serve the community. I've been doing this for 21 years now. So that's the condensed version, right? I have an amazing family. My wife, Emily, let's be honest, she keeps the whole show running. And we got 6 amazing kids. And that's what keeps me busy when I'm not in here. So, thank you so much. Today, we're going to go through ways you can heal naturally and see 50 to 100% resolution, even when you tried other stuff and that hasn't worked. And so, usually I get people going like, yeah, right. So the skepticism there, is that anybody in that boat? Like, yeah, right. It's okay if you're there. I was too. And I welcome that. You'll see why we can make that clean here in a little minute. So let's do step 1. Who knows if they actually have a diagnosis of neuropathy? You're obviously supporting here. You're trying to support other people. But who knows if they have it, like they've been diagnosed? Or who's curious if they do? Like you're still figuring that out? Not sure? Curious. And you're pointing at him, he's got something going on. Greg, what do you notice?
Curious too.
Curious too? For yourself?
No, just to know about it.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
I have symptoms.
Symptoms of it. Okay. Same for you, Greg, some symptoms? Yeah.
I have.
You have, Okay, that helps me kind of tailor what we're going through today. Bottom line with neuropathy is it's damage to the nerves. Okay, and it's the peripheral nerve system, which is anything that's outside of brain and spine. That's how it's defined. So it's kind of a broad spectrum term, but it typically will then develop into symptoms most commonly in feet, but it can also be hands, it can also be your internal organs. So there's a lot of varieties of neuropathy that are out there. There's over 20 million people, and these stats are at least 10 years old, so it's probably more like 25 to 30 now. And this is underreported because guys are tough and they don't mention that stuff, right? That's just kind of how that goes. But there's a lot of these. 1 in 6 over age 45 are dealing with this. It's a lot of people. How do you get it, Carl? Is it contagious?
I think it results from a pinched sciatic nerve coming from C4, C5.
Mm-hmm.
And vertebrae.
Some people definitely that's a part of it. Yeah, and we'll talk about the different
I had a
reasons
fall.
now.
I had a fall.
You had a fall.
You mean L4?
Yeah, be lower.
Lower.
It could be in cervical. It's got the hands. Yeah, it could be neck. Yeah. So yeah, traumas can cause it, right? We'll talk about other reasons why here in a little minute, but that's that could be a big one. Traditional treatment options. What are they giving you? What are you aware of for treatment?
I go to physical therapy.
All right, PT. Good. What else? Have they given you? Gabapentin. Anybody?
I take that.
You take
I don't
gabapentin?
think it does anything now.
Right. Gabapentin. That's the most common one.
Chiropractor.
Chiropractor. Awesome. Good. So specifically with neuropathy and medications in the traditional treatment option arena, gabapentin, Neurontin, Cymbalta, Lyrica, they're all similar. Here's the thing you need to know. They actually make your blood vessels tighter. They cause vascular problems, which is the opposite of what you need for neuropathy in most cases.
The gabapentin does.
Right. Long term, it makes the blood vessels constrict, which then makes your problem worse. The core problem with neuropathy. We'll see that in a minute. But just be aware of that. It might block some symptoms and help you manage symptoms. That's the bottom line. Is medication, even PT, depending on the cause, is going to be symptom management. Right? Not actually getting to the core of why it developed and how to solve it. Does that make sense? Worst case scenario is amputation. Type 2 diabetics are in a higher risk category. For that, you need to be aware if you have blood sugar problems, you're in a higher risk category. But that's what they basically do is in the medical world, prescription drugs and then amputation is the last resort so the foot doesn't, get worse, right? So yeah, the symptom management, right? You're kind of tired of having the symptoms managed. You're like, let's get to the real solution. So let's talk about what that looks like. And so here's what I hear all the time from patients: like, things that were fun aren't so fun anymore, or I don't want to try them because I'm scared of falling, or just quality of life starts going down the tubes. And the insidious thing with neuropathy is the more you have it, the pain and symptoms can often then start to dissipate, go away as the tissue continues to die off. So it feels better, it gets number, and then you don't realize what situation you're in. So that's kind of how that goes. But have you ever wondered, like, what would it be like to get some of that back? What if I could go on that walk again? What if I could climb that steps at the Finger Lakes and see the beauty on the other side? But that was my anniversary trip a couple summers ago. And I just thought, man, my patients on this side of the equation wouldn't even, a lot of them are scared of that, even thought of climbing steps like that. Does that make sense? You experience some of that, some of the hobbies and things aren't as fun anymore. So what's the better way, right? The truth is I never really wanted to be a neuropathy expert. Anybody else learn the hard way, school of hard knocks? Yeah, some tough things you had to go through and learn some things. That's how I figured out this neuropathy situation. So let me share that story with you. Has anybody heard the story about my dad yet? Okay, so let me share that one because that's really what got me to be doing this in the first place. So, goodness, a number of years ago now. Even before that, my dad was in Vietnam, fought 2 tours, and he had Agent Orange exposure as part of his service. That's a known nerve poison, right? We have blood sugar and heart issues in our family history. So you add that together, and he was starting to have neuropathy symptoms and things like that, losing his balance a bit. And but again, he's been through some stuff. He could handle it. Didn't really tell people what was going on, how bad it was getting. And my our neighbor was having a litter of puppies. And he went up to he's got a shed with a 2-story and had a kennel up there to help him with the whelping box. So he went upstairs to get it. And he's coming down the stairs. He lost his balance and he fell. And he ended up breaking his neck. And he was on the stairs for over an hour before we knew, because we thought he was going to help the neighbor out. So, I get a phone call. My mom calls and says, hey, your dad fell and we're taking him to the hospital. But she's in shock, going like, so it didn't translate like this is a big deal. But that part is like, something's going on. I need to look a little deeper. And so I drove down to the hospital to see him. And I'll never forget when I walked in and they're like, we're doing the best we can. Here's the images. They showed me the films, and these are the ones you see in school that you never want to see in real life, let alone your own family member. And we got an traction, and we're going to do surgery, etc. But he's probably going to need a C5 quad, which meant he's in a wheelchair and he could use his arms a bit. But he had a hard time feeding himself. Couldn't hug his kids and grandkids anymore. Completely changed our world. I would take the train from here down to Philly to go see him in neuro rehab. They did, everything they could there for a while, until he transitioned home. And then he decided, because back then, this is over 10, 11 years now, he had a 2-story house, and to put an addition on, ADA compliant bathroom and all that, first floor, back then for nothing fancy was $50,000. We're not talking marble and gold and whatever. It's just like Formica countertops and Home Depot cabinet. It wasn't anything fancy. And today it's probably triple that. I can't even imagine. So we've been through this physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually, all of those things. And if I can figure this out and go, how do I help one person not live through that? It's worth every moment I've spent away from my kids and family, figuring this thing out. And so this is where this comes from. This is the story I had to live through to figure this out, to bring answers to people. And we don't have the budget like Big Pharma to put commercials all over it, right? It's like we do this one-on-one and in small groups we can actually show you what's possible. Okay, so that's where this comes from. If I ever seem pushy, it's because I know there's a different way to do this, and you don't have to live stuck the way you are. You just know it's coming from a heart of love. I'm not trying to force it. It's like, come on, let's go, right? So that's what I had to learn. So there's image of a neck fracture here and what that was like. And then my dad and my kids were a whole lot smaller. My nephews are in that picture too. But yeah, totally changed our world. So then that led me to develop the legacy way. This is more than just our name on the sign. It's literally how we practice. And so the first thing is we listen to your story. A lot of my patients I hear, they get rushed through the doctor's office, 5-6 minutes later, they leave with a script. Anybody experienced that before? And you're like, okay. And they don't really get heard. They don't understand, they don't feel heard or understood. So that's our first step, is going, what got you where you are now? Because Milton's story is probably everything breaks, right? Let's make some sense out of these things so we can figure out in terms of the history. Then we do our expert vision examinations. We do things here clinically and in the office that really, there's only a handful of us in the state that are doing this kind of treatment. So we go through our examination. I'll explain what that is a little later. Then we do our gentle genius protocols. They actually work. Tens of thousands of patients just like you around the country using these same protocols, getting results. Activating the healing response. You'll see how we do that in a minute. And then creating mind-body connections, because if you've got neuropathy going on, you're losing sensation or feeling, or you got extra feeling, and you need to recenter that in the brain and the body. Does that make sense? And then why are we doing that? Because it's your legacy right now. It's not like wait and pass it on to somebody else. It's live it now and influence the people in your life that are meaningful and that you care about and that care about you. And you've got way more life to live and give. Does that make sense? That's what we do, and that's how we operate. So, with all that in mind, now they invite me to speak and consult other docs, things like that. A little bit of my background in this. I've been doing this for actually over 8 years now, specifically with neuropathy. So then we get to see stories like this. And I noticed this, and this is the way it stands out. We were miserable. It wasn't just Jay who came in suffering. The support team was miserable, right? It's like everybody else that needed, they're getting tired out too. And it creates this, another kind of neuropathy, this relational, right? Because, just what I've seen is over the years, Greg might be having a bad day, and Myrna goes, hey, I can see he's having a bad day. I don't want to bug him about it. And, it creates this, silent thing. You know what I'm talking about? And that happens in couples sometimes. You figure it out, but some people don't. It can create this other relational tension. We were miserable. And then when Jay came in, he thought it was arch issues. He had a bad back. And he had neuropathy, nerve damage in his feet from blood sugar and other things going on that was actually causing the problem. Bottom line is he didn't quit his job, and then we got him back to work and living a whole new life. Rick, amazing guy. Neuropathy was driving me crazy. Feet were cold all the time. Waking up 5 to 6 times a night. And they have a hard time sleeping. Sometimes, yeah. I know if I have a bad night, I'm a cranky dude. That's just not. I can't imagine after a night living like that. The reason Rick came in, he had some of the severe special needs. And he's like, I need to be there to be the dad that my son needs to take care of him. And that ultimate duty as a father, you'll sacrifice whatever for your kiddos. And that's what Rick was going through. Sleeping through the night now, no longer have to get up. My neuropathy is 75% better. That was about 90 days in for him. Sandy, a lot of progress in my neuropathy. When I first came in, bad shape, couldn't walk. Experienced a lot of pain in my legs. Now my right leg is pain-free. My left leg is feeling better. And the treatment is helping. And it's worth every penny. So, again, to encourage you that these are real people that just took some action and their life's different. I want to show you root causes, what actually causes this stuff. Show you then our 4-pronged approach. We need all 4 legs on the chair to make it work, right? So I'm going to show you what those look like. And then, again, these stories to give you some hope for your own healing. And then show you what next steps could look like, okay? So that's where we're going. So first one here, everyone's going to want to put their hand up. This is a little demonstration with your hand. And this is what causes neuropathy, okay? So this is the blood vessels, and the palm is the nerve. Okay, so does that make sense? The blood vessels that are feeding the nerve. And now if you squeeze your hand as tight as you can, and you hold it there, and let's say 10 minutes go by, what are you going to feel in the hand? Numbness, great. What else might you feel?
Weakness.
Yeah, it could be weakness. Numbness, weakness, what else might you feel?
Tightness?
Yeah, tightness, tingling. They kind of sound like neuropathy symptoms, right? You can rest your hand, but when you start to choke the blood supply and you're suffocating that nerve, it's going to let you know. So wherever that's happening, if it's your hands or your feet, the sciatic, whatever the distribution is, that's what's going on, is that nerve is getting choked off with its blood supply. And it's starving and suffocating. Okay, then it's got to let you know through those various symptoms that you all mentioned. Okay, so the better question is, what causes this? And that's what we're going to go through now. But the research shows there's over 100 different causes for this. Okay, and it's literally, a whole ream of paper, single space, double-sided, it goes on and on and on. So again, all of them, by and large, have this in common, is that it's making the blood flow choke off to the nerve supply. And then you can't get nutrients in, you can't get toxins out, and it's going to let you know. Does that make sense? So if we can tackle this, then we start to win. Okay, so let's show you how that happens. Again, all the symptoms you just mentioned. And again, you can take your medication or whatever, and that might be supportive to block the symptoms, but it doesn't actually get to the root cause of why that's there. So the root causes then end up being things like gut health. Were you aware that over 50% of your immune system lives in your gut? It's a big deal. And you'll see why that is here in a minute too, but gut health is a big one. Macronutrients, that's your fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. In the US, what do we tend to eat too much of?
Carbs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the carbohydrates turn right into sugar. When you put them in your mouth, the enzyme breaks them down and makes them into sugar, and then the sugar is really bad, damages nerves. Okay? Micronutrients, that is your magnesium, that's your folic acid, B12, lipoic acid, all the various nutrients that your body actually uses to make the nerve operate. Are you with me on that? So that's micro, macro. Oxygen deprivation, that can actually be lung problems, that could be sedentary lifestyles. But if you can't get oxygen into the tissue, you run into trouble. Make sense? And then other neurological weaknesses could be traumas, injuries. I had a gentleman with a gunshot wound, like we lose so much with a severed nerve, right? So, but those can be, or genetic problems can play into there as well. So those are underlying root causes. And then one other one that unifies all of those together is this idea of an energy debt. So let's say you've got a couple of these things going on. Your body requires a lot of energy to try to run this, right, or to heal it up. Does that make sense? So if you're running low on energy and those different batteries are low in the gut or low in the immune system or low in the nerve, right? It's like if your phone is low on charge, how many apps can you run? Like not many, right? You gotta start shutting them down, you gotta make choices. Your body's doing the same thing. Every cell in your body is a battery, like literally has a battery charged to it. And so when that battery starts to drain, it still has to try to operate, but now it's to make choices on what functions do I do, which ones do I shut down. Does that make sense? And so that's kind of what we're looking at. If it's running at 80 to 100%, you can fix whatever you need to. When it starts to drain from there, now we have to make room for mutations. You're still making new cells, your body has to operate, but it can't do all the quality control. From there, you get into autoimmune diseases. And when the cell literally loses more charge and battery, that's when cancer can develop. Okay, so it's not a workshop on cancer, but I'd like to give you a little different lens through which to look at all of your healthcare, if that's okay. Can I shake up your healthcare paradigm for a moment? So let me ask you this question. Have you ever heard of anyone getting a heart cancer? No, right? It's super rare if it's happening, and probably rarely primary. Right? So why? What organ in the body requires the most energy? Yeah. Right? Never gets a day off, thankfully. It's running. It's going and going.
Has to.
Right? It has to. So the heart's constantly going, and the second one would be brain. But let's think about this in terms of the heart. If the heart battery drops to, say, here, right, what do you think is going to happen to the heart if the battery drains too low?
It's gonna die.
Right, it's going to fail or get some kind of heart event or whatever, right? So it's going to kind of get too tired out before it can even develop cancer in the heart. I'm seeing some light bulbs go on. Wait a minute. Yeah, so like typically when there's cancering, it's a verb actually, is what I like to call it. There's not enough energy in that tissue, and the body's trying to make more cells to throw a Hail Mary pass to get you more time with your loved ones, not try to kill you. Is that clicking a little bit? Yeah. So it's like, what's going to kill you quicker? One other example of this would liver, let's use a liver for example. Liver failure or liver cancer kill you quicker? What do you think? Craig, what do you think? Liver failure, liver cancer, which would kill you quicker? Yeah. Failure. If it's failed, you're done. Kidney failure, kidney cancer. Failure. If it fails, you're a failure. Make sense? So it's like if the energy in that cell is cancering, it's still buying you time. I just want to throw that idea instead of this whole notion of, oh, fight cancer. Like, that's a whole different energy, isn't it? And like, maybe I need to recharge. I'm not saying you don't need to make drastic measures if that's the situation you're in, but does that make sense? Just thinking a little differently through the lens of the actual physics of how your body operates. So that's how we look at things differently here. That's why we're not treating symptoms. We're concerned with them. We want you to feel better, but at the end of the day, what batteries are drained? How do we recharge those batteries and stop the drain that's on them? Okay, is that making sense? So that's going to help you understand why we use the technology we use when I show you that part in a moment. That's a big idea. So, energy debt creates underlying root cause problems that give you the symptoms. And we need to stop this and get this back. So let's get into the details. Number one is getting oxygen and angiogenesis back. Now, how do we regrow blood vessels? That's angiogenesis. Okay, we do a thermal scan, and red and white are normal. Blue and anything that's not red and white is not normal. Okay, and it's not acceptable in my office. And beginning of treatment, June of 23, what do you see in the feed here? Yeah, right? It's a lot colder. It's not getting blood flow. A couple weeks later, we're in the middle of July. What do you notice now? Yeah, we're starting to get blood flow back, which means now the tissue can actually start to have an opportunity to heal. Because before it was dying quicker than it could repair. Does that make sense? So number one is getting blood flow back into the tissue. When we do that, we get stories like Betty. She was one of my first patients in practice, and originally came with a back problem, and traditionally trained as a chiropractor, that worked out pretty well, got her feeling a lot better quicker. And she's like, Doc, I got neuropathy going on, can you help me with that? I'm like, I don't know, let's try some things. So we put a plan together, and went through that plan, and guess what happened?
Got healed.
I wish she got healed. We struck out. We got nowhere. In fact, she got nowhere. She started getting worse. And we're like, okay, well, now what? Take two. Went back to the drawing board. New plan. Went through that plan. Guess what happened then? Strike two. Right? It was like big swing and a miss again. So then we got to the concepts that I was able to, I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. And this is her 2 months in to her plan. A couple things about this. It's about 2 minutes long. The background's different because I was in Lancaster for 15 years before I moved up here around COVID time. And then the other question I get is, does the treatment turn your hair white? The answer is no. She went gracefully gray between the two. But I'll let her share her story and give you an idea. I want you to pay attention. She's going to mention numbers. Really important that you understand these. When nerves start dying, there's a point of no return. So think of a plant. When it starts wilting and dying, you have to change the stuff. Right? Maybe you give it more energy with sunlight. Maybe you change the soil, water, right? And try to revive the plant. But if that plant's too far gone, it's not coming back no matter what you do. Yeah. Nerves are very similar. When the nerve has lost 85% function, that's usually a point of no return. You're going to see some permanent nerve damage. It doesn't mean it can't improve, but it's usually never getting all the way back. Okay, so she's going to mention numbers here so you have some understanding of what that's like. And I'll let Betty share that for you here.
Okay.
So I'm here with Betty, and she's been, how long have you been in the neuropathy program now? Over 2 months. About 2 months. And you started, and you were pretty high percentages from members.
Yes. I'm correct. I'm 88% loss.
88%, right.
On the right and 78 on the left.
Yeah, we weren't really sure. Like, I don't know if it's going to help initially. So tell me, what were you experiencing when you first came in with the neuropathy symptoms?
Yeah, extremely restless at night, and my toes area especially hurt. It was an unusual. It was hard to define or describe the ache that's there. Sometimes it felt like my feet were freezing, and yet when I touched them, they weren't cold.
Right. That sensation of the freezing. And then, what's been your experience since being able to start the program?
Well, I don't experience the restlessness or the pain. Yeah, and that's only with 2 months, and I have time to go yet, so I'm very delighted.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this turns out for you, because I know when we looked at your last set of numbers, you're doing, I think only, well, it was less than 40%.
There's
Yeah,
31,
it's 31 on one side and
31 on the other.
on the other. Oh, is he?
Yes.
See, you know better than I do.
That's
That's great. So that's a huge change from, 80s.
It is.
That's wonderful.
I'm so grateful. But the thing that really blesses my heart is my older sister is numb from her knees down
Mm-hmm.
and now from her hands to her elbows. And I was hoping I could avoid that, and surely with God's help and your help, I'm doing that.
Yeah, we're really thankful to be part of that, and that we get to be a part of your story with that. Thanks so much for sharing that. Do I have your permission to share this with other people, other patients, other students, other doctors?
Sure.
Yeah. Any
Yes.
conditions on sharing that?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Thanks so much, baby. You're not okay. That makes sense. Well, she was almost at no return, and then went to getting more than 50% of her feeling back in a couple months. And then the question I get is, well, how long does that last? Right? And it's going to vary depending on the person, what they've got going on. But in her case, this is a 6-year follow-up to show you what the long-term healing possibilities are. So let her tell that one. Okay, so I was betting this is what, about a 6 or so year follow-up.
Yeah.
So tell me what your symptoms are now for the neuropathy.
Well, it's good unless I eat sweets.
Okay.
Then I have misery in my feet.
Gotcha.
Big time.
But otherwise, you don't really need your food right now, and you're not using that as part of your care plan anymore.
Correct.
Just that steroid diet more.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And that's fantastic long-term results so far, especially because your sister was in bad shape.
Yes.
And you avoided that. Thank God for that.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You do as well.
Thank you. She got a full resolution. All of her feeling back. All of her strength came back. She was playing with her grandkids again, like, family meals, the whole thing. They used to do it every Sunday they get together, and she would participate in that. And unfortunately, her sister wasn't near myself or in college in the state, and ended up in a wheelchair. And just like, we got to save Betty. We couldn't throw every starfish back in the ocean, but we got to save Betty. And that was just a giant, it almost makes you tear up every time I watch that one. So, just to show you what's possible, again, when you heal up the tissue, it's like you have a cast on, and the break heals. You need to keep wearing the cast. No, the cast just supports it while it's healing. So all we got to do is remove the interference, give the body what it needs to do the healing, and then you're out of the way, let it do its job. Right? So that's what this offers. So that's number one. When you start to get blood flow back, miracles start happening. Number two, inflammation. Raise your hand if you've heard that inflammation is bad for, it's the scourge of the universe when it comes to health conditions, right? So what causes inflammation? Number one is prolonged stress. When you're stressed out, you do more of this or more of this, right? It's more tension, right? More blood flow gets constricted. Pathogens. We are number one in the world here in Pennsylvania for what disease? What infection? Hunters get it all the time. Yeah, tick-borne, Lyme disease. Okay, so one in particular is called Bartonella, and that particular organism is known to cause neuropathy symptoms. So you need to aware that's something we screen for in the office regularly. And then junk food. Everybody knows junk food's bad for you. And then that's one thing I mentioned with sugar. Betty was non-diabetic, but she noticed when she ate sugar and sweets, her nerves got bad again. So that was just, she was able to manage that with her diet. But just that awareness of even if you're not diabetic, that can still be a problem for you. Chemicals and medications. Obviously, chemotherapy. That's a known cause. We've seen a lot of post-cancer chemotherapy-induced neuropathy patients. Frankly, it's one of the easier ones to treat. That being said, other medications like statin drugs for cholesterol. Some of them are known to be, they cause muscle weakness, muscle pain, nerve symptoms. So check with your, I would say, pharmacist on that. They're a good resource. Have them run a search on all the medications that you're using and see if there's any interactions with that, okay? Heavy metals. Things like mercury are bad news when it comes to nerves. And as an example, everybody thinks about tuna fish and seafood, which might be the source, but a lot of times it's from your dental fillings. So old fillings that are metal or mercury that were maybe leaking a little bit, and now that affects the sensory nerves wherever they might be in the body. And if it's, I don't understand this whole process, but let's say you have mercury over here, and then OSHA's got all their guidelines on how to keep you safe, and then you put it in your mouth, and apparently that's okay in a filling, and then we have to remove that filling and change it. The dentist has to follow all the same procedures for OSHA to now deal with the mercury that's out of your mouth. Something doesn't quite add up in that story. Does that make sense? So sometimes proper dental support is needed to get to the core of why that's happening and stopping that metal problem. And then you still have to eliminate it from the nerve in the body as much as possible, but metals can be a problem. And then dehydration is another one. Every cup of coffee you might drink is going to deplete you of 2 cups of water. So caffeine will dehydrate you, and then just making sure, especially if the air gets drier, you're going to need a lot more water. So water is a huge one. Half your body weight in ounces a day of good clean water is the ideal. Okay, that's a good rule of thumb. So, does that make sense? We can reduce inflammation. Nerves have a better chance of getting better. Kind of that simple. How do we do that, and what happens when we do? For Isabel, she's a wonderful French lady, very thick French accent. She lived in the States for a number of years, but she actually is a cancer survivor. She had severe type 2 diabetes. On her paperwork, she's like, if nothing is different in a year, I'm going to be dead. Like, she was really in bad shape. And so we said, okay, and she had a daughter who was going to go away to college, and she's like, I got a lot of life to live, got a husband at home, I got a career, and just knocking on death's door. We did some detox for her, changed her lifestyle, got inflammation down, changed up her hydration, and we did a lot with light therapy. And that's one of the things that benefits the regrowing blood vessels. We'll see that in a minute. We'll do that as our demo today. And then she says, I'm on top of the world, flying on a cloud no matter what are the circumstances. I'm feeling my best in my body at 53. A year ago, I was told I was very sick. In this picture, you're seeing her here. Type 2 diabetes is gone. Neuropathy is at least 50% better at that stage. She's even better than that now. She came in last week. And she's the other piece of that story, she came in one day, she's like, Doc, I'm doing great, and I'm giving you a bill. And I'm like, what's going on, Isabel? Just doesn't add up. And she's like, I have lost 70 pounds, none of my clothes fit anymore, and I need a whole new wardrobe, and I'm giving you the bill for that. So we had a good laugh over that. So this picture is 70 pounds lighter, and she came in, like I said, about last week, and she's at least another 15, 20 pounds lighter than that. So she's continued to completely change her life. Now she's like, I'm going to visit my daughter, and just all of life opened back up for her. So again, when we get to change these things and see literally people completely change their life, that's a very rewarding place to be in. So is yours going to be as dramatic? I don't know, but what if we can make it a little bit better? So here's what we do now. Showing you in real time what this looks like. We're going to give somebody an opportunity for a healing experience. To do that, I'm going to bring some awareness to what your body is doing. So I'm going to show you, we're going to do a balance screening. And then from there, that'll help us kind of pick who's going to be our treatment participant today. And then get an idea, maybe some awareness on what your balance is doing and how that's affecting things. Okay, so I'll invite you all to stand up. Get a little blood flow going here. And I'm going to show you these. And if any of these are uncomfortable or you don't feel the same doing them, do not feel like you have to participate. I'm going to show you, and then we'll do them as a group. So, everybody, the first one is going to be, you're going to go as close together as you can. Hands are going to be on the hips for all of them. And then we're going to close our eyes for 10 seconds. And no one should fall over. That's our baseline. Okay, so I'll tell you when to do it, but not yet. So the second one is going to be eyes open with one knee up. And the third one, if you pass that, will be eyes closed with one knee up. Okay, so I would say the second one gets about 95% of people. So depending on who passes that, we might skip the third one. But you can kind of check these on your own too to see what your progress might be like. So obviously balance is near and dear to my heart because that's what got my dad. So we're going to screen that for you guys and see what's going on. So before we do this, look to the person beside you and say, I got your back. Okay, we don't want anybody going down, and no one's falling down in these workshops before, so tonight won't be our first. Okay? All right, so everybody ready? Hands are going on the hips, feet as close together as you can. And I'll count us in here on 3, 2, 1, and eyes closed. 3, 2, 1, and open the eyes. All right, nobody fell over. Great job.
Almost.
Almost, Joanne?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, okay, so that brings up a good point.
That's my problem, the balance.
Yeah, balance is a big one. And the research shows if you fall and break a hip, you got like a year left, and then you're done. Regardless of age, it's a, it could be a game changer. So, balance. Who fell, everybody passed it. Nobody fell over, but the scale of 1 to 10, 10 is I can stand there all day long. 0 is I'm about to fall over. Where were you at on that spectrum?
6.
5 more seconds and you were about done? Okay, you were about a 6.
No, me a 6, probably.
You were a 6. If you're about to fall over at 10-second mark, you're probably on the lower end.
Me?
Yeah, like 0 would be I'm about to fall over. Yeah.
I mean, I could do it, but still, I could feel myself.
You feel it?
Yeah.
So the point I'm getting to here is, if you're unsteady on your feet, right, it's that hesitation. Can I do that? Am I able to navigate in the dark? Am I able to do the staircase, right? It's this constant energy required to, can I actually navigate my own world? Does that make sense? And so if it's been going on long enough, your brain starts to forget that it takes all that energy to run it. Are you with me? So that's just that, I've seen that a lot, that cautionary hesitation of, can I actually do what I need to do in the world? So, okay, let's try the next one. You ready? Hands on the hips, and when I say go, you're going to bring stand on your strongest leg. And Carl's like, no, don't push it if you don't worry about that.
I can't do it.
Okay? And yeah, feel free to pass, but let's give this one a try. Ready? 3, 2, 1, stand on your strongest leg. If the foot touches at all, it's a fail. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, and we do.
I don't have it.
You don't have it, so that's why he's passing this test. Awesome.
But I
Good.
still can keep it up there.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can't
All
either.
right.
I can
Good.
do it one hand on my hip
One hand on the hip.
and then the leg up, but I can't
Yeah.
do both hands on
I had an
the
old
leg.
chair for that one. Okay. Yeah. So let's bring awareness to
Too much.
balance. Is a little better, worse than you thought. What was your experience on that? Anybody think my balance was better than I thought? Well, good. Yeah. Everybody else is like, not so much, huh? Okay, got it. Let me ask you this question. Who has had neuropathy for more than a year? More than 5 years? More
No,
than
not 5. It's getting there.
near
Probably about-
5?
Probably about 2, 3.
2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And yours is about 3 to 4. Okay. We're gonna do ladies first. That's what my mama taught me. You okay? If we did help you out today, Joanne?
Yeah.
Awesome. Come on up here for a round of applause. I think we can clap for like twice after we graduate high school, so we're just gonna do a little extra today, okay?
Where we headed?
Just right here. Right here is good.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna stand here, and what we're gonna do is, we already know our balance isn't great. We're gonna assess it one more time here and actually measure timing on it, so we can see it pre and post. You're welcome to have a seat if that's comfortable for you. We're also then going to check a few other things. Range of motion. Because sometimes when the brain gets better, other things get better too.
I can't stand my for
It hurts.
No, I just get unbalanced.
Unbalanced.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fair.
It doesn't hurt.
Well, that's good.
Mm-mm.
We're going to check, so I'm going to stand here. I got you right here.
Okay.
The other one then is you need muscle strength to actually stand up. So we're going to assess how her muscles are working or not working and see what's going on with that. The other thing is we're going to check her sway. So when you're standing here, you should be able to resist a little bit of force going back and forth. And if she's unbalanced, unlikely the brain is operating at full capacity there. So let's screen a couple of these things. Let's do balance. You ready?
Yeah.
Hands on your hips, feet together as close as you can get them.
This is probably it.
That's about it?
That's it.
Okay, I believe you. Notice she's already falling back. Okay, we're gonna just stop right there because I don't. we're gonna call that one good. So if we can keep her from stumbling around, then that's gonna be a win. We're not done yet. We're just getting started, girl.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
but-
Let's step back this way. We're gonna check range of motion. Okay, so let this shoulder relax completely.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me have the whole thing. Any shoulder problems I should know about?
No.
Good. So she gets out there, a little better than 45. So she can make it a little better. See her, yeah, she's leaning at it. Good. She's a winner. Let that relax. Let's see the other one here. Yeah. Okay. So just to get an idea where she's at on that, if you notice her shoulders, which one's higher? This side. Yeah. So the muscle that holds that one down is the lat. I'm going to test the lat. We're assuming it's probably a little weaker than the other side. Let's find out. Turn your thumb backwards. Pull your elbow into your waist. Yeah, hold that in tight. Don't let me move your arm. She's trying, but there's nothing there. Try the other one here. Thumb backwards. Pull that into your waist for me. Hold that in strong. That one I can't budge. Feel the difference with that? You notice that too, Joe?
More range of motion on our right side.
Yeah, a little more range of motion here, but the inhibition or the weakness, nerve weakness, this does not work out more. This is the nerves actually switch off to that muscle. Does that make sense? So just give us something else to watch because it's easy to check it and down. Okay, so let's see what else. I'm going to check balance and sway. So I'm going to add a little pressure here. Don't let me move you backwards. Lean into my hand forwards. Lean forward if you can. Yeah, she's got like nothing there. Okay. Lean back into my hand. I'm going to push you forward. Don't let me push you forward. And same thing there. She's got like no stability going that way. I'm going to go side to side. You ready?
I'll try.
Okay. I'm right here. I'm not letting you go anywhere.
Okay.
You're going to lean into your right side. Lean into my hand here. Okay. And that one's decent. Like, feel that. I'm adding some force and just catching it. And let's do the left one here. I'm going to stand this way. Okay. Same thing. Lean into my left hand here. Okay. And the left one is, yeah, so she's kind of leaning right. That's the best way her brain knows to adapt to her world right now. So front, back, and left are not operational the way we need them to be. You with me?
Yeah.
All right, let's see about motor. I'm going to have you sit in the chair right here, my dear. Right behind you.
Let me look.
Yep, you look as much as you need. Yep.
Sit.
Perfect. Now we're going to check leg strength and see what's working there, what's not. So we're checking the stair climbers and like front, back of the leg, and then the calves. So let's try that. Can you bring your knee up in the air for me? Hold that up, don't let me push it down. That one's pretty good. Let's do the other one here. That one's pretty good. Can you pull this heel backwards? That's it. Bend that back. That hamstring doesn't work. Pull back. You're trying. You feel that?
Yeah.
Let's try the right one here. Pulling back. Okay. And that one's also not working. So let's try heels on the floor.
Heels on the floor.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, just like that's good. We'll take your shoe. We're gonna get those off here in a minute anyway. There you go. I'll help you with the other one too. Gotcha. All right, heels on the floor, and then I'm gonna push down here. Don't let me push. Keep your toes up. That one's really weak. Do the other one here, lifting that up. So those are a big deal. Are you tripping over curves and things like that yet?
Where I have.
You have before, yeah, because that like muscle that's lifting the foot up is not doing its job. So you need those to stabilize balance. Are you with me? Does that make sense? So we're going to see what happens. We're going to give you some treatment. And as a recap, correct me where I'm wrong, but the muscles on the ankle aren't firing, hamstrings aren't doing their job. The front was okay. Front, back, and left were weak with her standing. And we had weakness in the left lat. I think that's pretty much what we checked. Did I miss anything? Okay. And balance was
And
pretty
range of
unsteady.
motion left was a little, not as.
Range of motion was, yeah.
And this is supposed to be the worst side, there ain't one.
Right one's supposed to be worse. Why is that?
Left. That's what I've been told. 'Cause
Oh.
At the physical therapy.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So, cool. So PT probably got you this far, but they're not. You're not out of the woods yet.
I wasn't walking at all for about
Oh,
4
wow.
months.
4 months. Wow. So you've come a long way then.
Yeah.
That's amazing. See, things I don't know, we just kind of pick people out of the demo. We'll see what happens. This is Dr. Midgley. He's going to be doing the treatment today. And part of that is I'm going to keep telling you what's going on with the screen. You can see what's happening. And then it's also not like a doctor-dependent thing. So it's like, it's the team approach you get here. And it's the process and protocol that makes the difference more than the individual treatment. Does that make sense? Awesome.
And most
You're
of
great.
what we're doing here, people can treat themselves at home too.
Yeah, that's the beauty of
other
it.
piece. Like that's the big piece.
Yeah, that is the big
And the light
event.
therapy is red light,
Say again?
red light,
Red light is one of the therapies. You'll see that in just a moment.
like red and infrared or red?
Red and infrared.
So this is
I like both.
a neuro, and he's gonna walk you through. He's gonna
Also,
talk about
question.
all this.
Yeah.
Would a,
Sucks.
neuroma
Let's people with socks there to
connected
get down.
to a neuropathy issue?
It can be connected. They're usually different in the sense of causation. Neuroma is usually when the organ starts to flatten and nerve gets inflamed and develops
Okay,
a thing.
I think,
That's the technical term.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
got-
So,
I got the thing.
you know the
Okay,
thing.
got it.
so yeah, that's
I was just curious.
we have other treatments for that, but that's not typically resolving with or directly connected to neuropathy.
Okay.
Great question.
Feeling that?
But it was like
Which
nerve, neuro.
Either.
Exactly. Yep, neuroma.
Maybe
Exactly.
neuroma.
It is a
You're feeling
nerve problem. It's a
anything in the-
different
in the-
causation.
A little bit? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yep. So here's the
I feel both of them now.
Okay.
Is that
Yeah.
microcurrent?
It looks like microcurrent.
Okay.
Are you familiar with TENS unit? Anybody heard of TENS before?
Yeah.
Okay, this is not TENS. TENS is 1950s technology, does not work with neuropathy. It works for other stuff, but it doesn't work for neuropathy. They look similar, but the difference is gigantic. So a TENS unit sends one signal out from the box to your muscle, and that's all it does. This will actually read what your nerve is doing, and then every 4 milliseconds, it's sending a new signal out. So it's like real-time nerve rehab. Okay, so the bottom line is we've got different tools to choose from. They accomplish basically the same thing, which is going to be rehabbing your nerve signaling. Okay, and that's important so legs can work. And you can start to get signaling back to the brain and spine. Does that make sense?
But not necessarily circulation.
It does some circulation, yes, because you'll get muscle contraction, but it's not actually regrowing blood vessels.
Okay.
So again, this is why it's a multifaceted approach that actually gets the result, because this is working on the nerve rehab and nerve repair, the signaling, but it's not really regrowing blood vessels. Okay. We see vibration therapy, which is important. You ever push a hand mower? Tilt that for you can see a little better. How's that? Easier? Hand mower, right? And the hands start to vibrate and get uncomfortably. That's the wrong vibration going in. When we use the right vibration, it actually brings blood flow to the area. So good vibes gets blood flow in. Balance also improves with vibration. If you don't have joint replacements, we recommend doing the standing variety. Okay, if you have a joint replacement, then we recommend the seated. Because standing, you're going to fire more of your postural muscles, right? Help you with balance, and then also, again, circulation improvement in the tissue. Okay? So, red light. So we get blood flow restoration. This literally will regrow blood vessels. And so you're seeing that's what we're using primarily for Joanne is that one here. And we've got several other lasers going on to give her as much energy as we can. Because what, again, remember the energy debt idea when the battery's drained? When it's drained, right, you're in bad shape, we got to charge it back up. And that's what the light does. It literally helps your body make more energy. It takes light energy and turns it into chemical energy for healing. Okay? So, pain relief, and then you can also put on a back, a knee, a shoulder, wherever else you got things going on. Old head injuries are commonly, we will support with that as well. So, we can treat a lot of different areas, or your spouse or friend or whatever, right? Whoever's neighbors pop by, we hear stories about all the time as well. Does that make sense? So in other words, we're trying to get you the tool that you need. Because who likes to go to the doctor? I didn't see one hand go up. Right? Nobody wants to be here. You want to get better and live your life, and we're trying to give you the tools and options to be able to do a lot of that on your own. Does that make sense? Okay. So, one is home care equipment. Think of it in that category. The next one then, we talked about the four-pronged approach. The next prong is going to be the right food plan. Both supplements and dietary. Right? You may have seen things online where it's buy this nerve cream or this nerve pill, or you tried some of those things? Anybody done some of that? Yeah, so if they work all the time, then I never see those people. But the ones that's not the full, they don't have all the other pieces of the puzzle. We need to look a little deeper. The ones we use have been used successfully, like I said, in over 500 clinics across the country, literally tens of thousands of patients getting better with these protocols. So that's the nutritional part. And then this is where we went wrong with Betty the first few times. We didn't actually even have all the equipment we now use. But we only did in-office visits for her the first 2 times, and that's why we didn't win. Because her nerves were breaking down and she needed that day in and day out support, which is why we got the result we did, because she could treat it at home every day. Does that make sense? That being said, Carl, if it's from a bad back on track can be a big helper. That literally takes pressure off the spine and opens up the nerve so you can get communication back to that leg. Okay, we've saved a lot of back surgeries using this tool. It's in the back corner over here if you're interested in looking. And the chair that Sandy's in, that Joanne's in now, is a battery charger called pulse electromagnetic field. That's also what this is, and these attachments are for. We'll put that on the feet, and then either rest comfortably on the bed or on the chair, whichever your preference is. And that is a magnet, turns on and off very quickly, and recharges the tissue. Gets circulation back, inflammation down, and so on. So those are huge. You may have heard of Tony Robbins before, international speaker and all that. He sleeps on these before he does his presentations. NFL athletes, the PEMF mats, yeah. Specifically the pulse that we have here. Yeah, a lot of NFL athletes, pro athletes, you name it, they've got these for their recovery as well. So, again, it's like when your cell phone dies, you put it on the charger, it's recharging the battery. This charges the battery in your body. Let's see. Soft wave is another game changer. It's used over all over Paris, the Olympics. Eagles have at least 2 in their locker room. It's any joint issue is going to get way better quicker with soft wave. You may have heard of stem cell therapy. Stem cell can be useful, but I find it's commonly cart before the horse in terms of neuropathy treatment, because they're trying to put stem cells in, but you don't have the blood flow to support it yet. Does that make sense? So we got to get blood flow back, and that could be a useful tool. But this will actually increase your blood flow 300% and activate your body's own stem cells to go to work for you instead of injecting into somebody else's, or even when they take yours out and that whole process. So we see things like this. This foot to this foot, how many treatments do you think that took?
Only a year.
You would think a year, right? It was one treatment. One. Now, this was not in my office. This was a colleague. And if I didn't know him, I'd be like, you are lying through your, right?
Right.
Yeah, it would take a year. No, one treatment.
What type of treatment?
The soft wave looks like a ultrasound wand, and we use that on the feet. Makes it nice and pink. Gets blood flow going almost right away. Yeah. Now, you have to do multiple treatments typically to get the full resolution. We can see changes like that really quickly. Okay.
But that's part of the 4-prong.
Correct.
It's not
Right.
just that. It's
Exactly. And again, what's the goal? Do you want to stop progression? Do you want to slow things down? Do you want to reverse it? What are your possibilities and goals? That would determine what sort of options we would use for your plan. But yeah, that would be, or someone that's like really early stage, maybe they only need something like that, right? So we got options to kind of think through and choose from. The other one is huge, is breathing. So breathing you have to do anyway. And let me show you how to do that. That's actually a way that's going to be healing for the nerve system. So you're going to breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, exhale with a hum for 6, and that's where the magic happens. And you hold out for 2 and repeat. Okay?
Do you have that in here?
That should be in there for you.
I like that.
Yeah, that's really huge. So the humming on the exhale is actually activating your healing nerve, the vagus nerve. And that puts you at rest. It does this and reverses this. Okay? So let's breathe together. Breathing in and hold it. Let me hear the hum. Good. And breathing in. Hold it. Good. One more time, breathing in. Hold.
The hum is the exhale.
Yeah, humming on the exhale.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you notice after 3 rounds of that? It's higher. Yeah, it's kind of like power down a little bit, right?
The vagus nerve.
Yeah, it starts to kind of rest things down. I recommend doing it 5 to 10 times every waking hour, realizing you might do it once or twice a day, right? That's so over-prescribing it. But that being said, I had a patient learning in here. She was on her feet all day long for her job, and that's the only thing she changed between when she learned it, came in for her assessment about a week later. So my feet are already feeling different just doing the breathing. But that was calming her nervous system down, getting blood flow back, and starting that healing process already. So it really is working powerfully well. In your bag is a little, if you're like me, you need reminders. So there's a bracelet in there, and that says, I'm beating neuropathy. Okay, and so that's my invitation to you, like, realizing Big Pharma's not going to save me. I'm going to make changes. I'm going to use something I learned tonight to make my life different, make it better. Maybe it's the breathing, maybe it's some other, piece of information you learned, and going, you know what? This is for me. This is for my legacy. This is for my family. And put that on. Use that as your breathing reminder. Use that as your this is for me. I'm doing this, right? It's not committing to us. It's going, I'm committing to you. Like you're committing to yourself to do something to improving it better. That's our little gift for you on that one. Okay. So that's a big deal. Now, briefly, some other story. Leroy. I mentioned Leroy. He was a type 2 diabetic. He would not stop drinking Turkey Hill sweet tea. Okay, that was his thing. And he's like, I'm not giving it up. So I mentioned that he got 50% better, but I say that because you don't need to be perfect to get improvement. So even if you're not 100% compliant, you can still make headway. And so that's a big one for that. And then we see other stories like Elsie here balances a little better. Her husband would drive over an hour to get here for her visit, so she needed to be here. I can feel my toes for the first time in 5 to 6 years. Same thing here. I'm walking. It doesn't feel weird. I can feel my toes first time in 10 years. So these are fairly common experiences. What if you're next, right? What if we can help you with that? So let's see how we get. You ready, Joanne?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, her batteries have been charged.
Yep. Charge your batteries
For 10 minutes.
for about 10 minutes, right? Yeah.
Wow.
And then the question is too, like, if we see changes, how long do those last? And I always ask, call me and tell me, because I don't know. But, you know, like, I had one person where it lasted them 2 weeks after one treatment like this. Where we only use light. Like, we didn't change our diet. We used vibration and light. We didn't do the nerve. We didn't do the nerve spot.
Yeah.
But we didn't do the whole foot. Like, this is a miniature treatment. Okay? So, perfect. Stay right there. We're gonna check this. We'll bring your pant leg down so you're. How's that? Is that okay?
Thank you, my
You're
legs
welcome.
are cold.
Yeah, it's chilly. Okay, let's start with his heels on the floor
Mhm.
and get the knees relaxed there. First of all, what do you notice at the moment?
But did I notice?
Yeah, what are you noticing? Thanks, Doc.
I think my back hurts a little bit.
Your back hurts a little bit from sitting?
Yeah.
Okay, we won't have you there
In
too much.
this position.
Oh, right, in that position?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anything you notice with the feet or
I can feel a little bit more activity, sort of.
little activity?
Yeah, more movement.
Yeah, more movement. Okay. When's the last time you felt more movement?
Wow. I feel it every day, but it goes and comes.
Okay, so in and
At
out.
nighttime, yeah, at nighttime it started to act up.
I see.
And in the morning, but during the daytime it loosened up,
Okay. Got it.
which is crazy.
Yeah. So it doesn't feel too much different
No,
than
not a lot.
typical at this point. Just curious.
Because it's this time of the day.
Got This time of the day.
It starts this time of the day.
Okay.
And Joanne, you seem to me like you have a little more pep, a little more vitality to me. Like I'm
Okay.
seeing, like just sitting here, I'm like, oh, I'm getting to know Joanne's personality. Like it seems like you would know.
I usually just sort of block it out sometimes and just
Oh, of course.
keep doing stuff.
Yeah,
Just,
right.
yeah. But anyway, I do feel a little different.
A little different.
A little different.
Okay. Let's see what's changed. If there's other changes going on.
The legs.
Yeah. Let's find out.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Okay. Bring your heel to the floor and bring your toes up again. Yeah. There you go. I'm gonna push down. Don't let me.
Okay.
Keep that up in the air. Oh wow. I'm leaning on that now.
Are you?
Yeah. Push up
Wow.
for that foot here. That one's still weak.
Yeah, Billy. Of
The
course.
that one's still weak, but this one here,
Which
heel on the
is
floor.
weaker side.
and that one I'm like I can lean. I can
I'm,
give it a body weight on that.
this side here is weaker.
Is that?
The right side is
Mhm.
definitely weaker.
Yeah. Well, let's find out what else is going on. Pull your heel back again, bend that knee back. So you see that the hamstring re-engaging. Try this one here, pull that one back. Go for the chair, actually. That was a chair, not a
That was
joke.
not my leg.
Yeah. Try that heel back again.
I'm gonna be out of here.
Yeah, so we got the hamstrings are re-engaging. Now, this is the cool thing is we didn't fix everything. Right? We can see in real time what else there is still to work on.
Yeah.
And we haven't done a whole history or workup to know, but just a couple minutes of light therapy, vibration, we're seeing neurological changes already. Let's see what else we got. You ready?
What you
Can
did.
you help coming out of the chair?
I can grab the
I believe you.
Should I get my shoes on?
That's how we did our initial balance, right? So
Oh,
yeah, I'll
yeah.
just slide those back on. Mhm. How was that getting out of the chair? Any different than?
No, it's okay. I always hold when I get out the
Yeah.
chair. I just don't want to fall. That's all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, what would you like me to do?
Obviously, I'm right here, and we're gonna check your sway again. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
So again, lean it forward into my hand. Okay. Maybe a little, yeah, there you go. It's got a little something. It's not great yet, but it's better. I'm adding some pressure before you just fell right back. Lean back into my hand here. Don't let me move you forward. Push back again in my hand. Yeah, there you go. And her, there we go. So now I can lean into her, and she's actually resisting that. This one was okay. We're gonna go to the left now. You ready? We're going this way.
Okay.
Lean into my hand here to the left.
Is it?
Yep, when you're
Okay,
ready. Yep, you start.
I'm ready.
There you go. There we go. You see, now I can lean body weight into her, and she's actually supporting that. That is a massive neurological change for where we were a few minutes ago. I'm not sure if you understand the gravity of what just happened there. That's a big, big deal. Let the shoulder relax
It is a
here.
big deal, because sometimes I can't stand a long time
Right.
in one spot.
Yeah, your whole center of gravity and balance was dysregulated. And then it's starting to come back online. Turn this thumb backwards and pull your whole arm into your side. I'm pulling out, don't let me pull that out. And see, that's re-engaging too. So that's a big deal, getting this shoulder stabilized, because actually supports lower back. Let's check your range of motion. When you're ready, bring this one up for me.
Which one?
Out to the side, we're going up, yeah. Bring that up. Any different with that? What do you notice?
I think it's up higher.
Does that feel higher for you?
Mhm.
Yeah. How about the other one here? That one's way easier. Wow. And that was supposed to be the bad side? Okay, cool.
Or maybe
So-
it reversed it.
Maybe, yeah, like who knows what the body's doing with that now, right? So again, we're recharging batteries and the brain's starting to do its own healing. We're just giving it the energy it needs to do its job. Does it make sense? Try hands on the hips. I'm just wondering if that feels different for you on the balance.
I don't know about that. That may be pushing it.
Well, I might be pushing it, but that's what we're here for.
4, 6.
What do you notice?
Let's get rid of that.
I'm standing a little bit longer.
Really?
Yeah. When I
That's
stand in
pretty
one spot, I start to move
cool.
around.
You start to move, yeah. So that's kind of cool. Actually, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen neurological changes quickly before, like with anything? Imagine now Joanne is treating day in and day out. Let's say we're 60 days, 90 days, 6 months in, and she's actually able to treat day in and day out with therapy at home. Can you see why you might get 50 to 100% improvement from where you were? That's why we can make that kind of claim, right? And that's the power of what your body can do when you start to recharge the batteries and you start to give it the energy it needs to heal. And again, we didn't do anything with diet. We didn't do anything hands-on with, like actually changing brain and receptor. Like, we didn't do any of that stuff. Give her some energy, and she's like, "Cool, watch what I can do."
I'm standing a lot longer than
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing too. I don't want to jinx that because she's like, "Yeah,
Back to it.
please, yeah, thank you very much."
Thank you.
So, is that helpful to see like what is actually possible? So that's my invitation for you. Is this something you're seeing like this might be a useful tool? That's something I can see working for me.
I could see it working
You
for
can
me.
see it.
Because
Yeah,
you would have to come how many times a week?
at least 20 times a week. No, that's
I mean,
see, that's
yeah.
the joke, right? Because
That is a joke.
you don't need to be here that often. I would say averages weekly for the first little while to make sure the nervous system's going the right direction, and then we turn you loose, you go home and do all your work. Okay? But typically, you're doing your homework day in and day out, at least once, commonly twice a day. So I'm not going to pull punches. This isn't for everybody. If you're not willing to commit to doing some work at home, this is absolutely not for you.
And you're talking about with the light therapy.
Right. So it's going to be similar to what you just saw with Joanne, except it's about a 30-minute home session.
What type of equipment do you have? Do you have the,
Basically, everything you just saw is what you would use. You wouldn't have as much of that, honestly. You wouldn't have 6 lasers on you in one shot, right? Usually, I mean, we've got a couple patients that would like to do that, but generally one is plenty, and you use the nerve spa or the digital electrotherapeutic, the sticky pads,
right?
Except we use a foot bath of water to get more of the nerve involved.
That's the stimulator, the two.
Right. Yeah. So you get the nerve stimulator and you get the light. And those are the two main home equipment pieces for most people. And
And the vibration.
vibration, thank you.
That vibration.
Yeah, either standing, I guess, I would prefer standing if we're able to do that if there's no joint replacement and you have a footprint in your house. It's like, it looks like this guy behind you. So it's not real big. But that's a helpful tool, vibration, light, and the nerve stimulator.
Is there, in your opinion, a quality issue in the vibration plates? For example, something that I'm not I buy from Amazon all the time.
Sure.
I'm just saying something that you might buy from Amazon versus something
Yeah.
that might come from like a recommendation you would make.
Right.
So is it an efficacy?
To be transparent, honestly, the ones on Amazon are going to be for what most people need at home are typically fun. Like, I'm not going to lie, that you don't need to spend a fortune on them to get benefit. And frankly, if you're getting a professional grade item, you can replace the cheap ones, right, 3-4 times over before you pay the premium price. So I'm not afraid of, like, just to tell you that, it's like we're not, you know, the biplate one, that's come a long, long way from the start. And so the basic ones are typically fine for most people.
Okay, now what does the lights do? They have to get the lights on.
Yeah, great question. You remember the blood flow picture?
Yeah,
That's what it does. It brings energy so that your body can actually start to create new blood vessels.
okay,
And it also adds light energy that your body uses for healing.
okay.
So the light activates nerves, reduces pain, inflammation, regrows blood vessels. That's kind of the basics of it. Okay? Yeah. So,
You say if we get these treatments, we get the lights, we get the stimulator, and what else? The stimulator.
yeah, so
light.
it'd be the nerve stimulator, the light, and the vibration plate are the
Okay.
real common. Those are most common that we recommend for
Okay.
home use.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd say one recommend prescribe is more accurate depending on the device we need to get you. We do need to prescribe it. It's not like a over the counter.
It's a script.
Right. The vibe plates are over the counter. That's, you know, pick one up, whatever. But the light and the nerve stimulator are prescription. Yeah. Other questions we get, how do I know if I qualify? We do our assessment, see what's going on. And, you know, again, the whole legacy protocol. What's your story? You know, what's going on? Figure that out. Assessment takes about an hour. And then again, if your nerve damage is beyond 85%, we have an honest conversation of this, you know, there's going to be some severe long-term stuff going on, right? So we talk about that. How long does it typically take? Yeah, assessment's about an hour, and then treatment's going to vary. If you got acute phase 1 neuropathy, that's a shorter treatment plan than if you're in stage 4, you know, like with long-term nerve damage. Does that make sense? So averages, treatment can be anywhere from, I'll say averages are probably about a year. We follow most cases about a year, and see really good resolution with that. So the initial push is the first 3 to 4 months. We need to get, so if you've been swinging that pendulum this way for a long time, we need to get way more energy back in, charge those batteries up, and then the body can get into a healing position, and then you keep healing as you move forward in the treatment. Does that make sense? But most of the office visit is in that first 3 months in most cases. And then we check quarterly beyond that to make sure your progress is going right. Insurance coverage. What do you think?
Is it covered or not covered?
Yeah,
Not
it's
covered.
not.
Not
Just to be
covered.
transparent with you, insurance isn't going to touch anything for neuropathy.
None of it.
If it's a back problem, like, you know, like something like that, we need to be hands-on specifically for the spine. You may cover a portion, but most of this, like your equipment, office visits, the therapies we need to do for neuropathy, they don't cover it. Medicare writes the guidelines on this stuff. We get it so often. I put it the guideline that Medicare came up with in your handout. It says, I'm paraphrasing, but basically if it's designed to make your quality of life better, it's non-medically necessary. So they're not going to cover any of that.
Okay.
So just to make you aware of that, it's going to be out of pocket, the lion's share of it. So then that brings up the question, well, what does an investment in my health look like? What would that be like? And that's going to vary again depending on severity and your goals. So I would say, let me just ask this. If we could just stop the progression, keep it from getting worse, what would that be worth? You know, like I can't answer that question for you, but that's one to ponder. If we could actually reverse it, what would that mean? I know they charge about $5,000 just to take off a toe if they have to amputate. So like, that's kind of the, you know, the realm that we're in. With that being said, to be straightforward with that, I would say we can get a lot of our care plans in the $400 to $500 a month range. There's a couple options out there that are like no interest for 2 years. So there's options out there to make it affordable as we possibly can. And to give you some actual numbers on it, I would say it's about $6,000 per stage that you're in. So there's 4 stages like there are for cancer. Stage 1, not so bad. Stage 4, more permanent. And it's about $6,000 for each stage that you're in. And that's why we like to catch you earlier and save you a lot of time and energy and resources. Does that make sense? So that's the average that we commonly see.
That's 6,000 per year.
No, that's going to cover equipment
Per stage.
and all of your per stage. So if you're in stage 2, average you're going to be 10 to 12. If you're in stage 3, we're pushing that 12 to 15 range. And if you're in stage 4, there's usually a whole lot of other stuff going on that can be more expensive. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah. And again, we can have the conversation of where do we start? Maybe we upgrade later. Like there's all of that. I'm just trying to give you ranges and not a high thing. I'm just trying to be an honest guy. Is that fair? There's too much other craziness going on in the world. So my promise to you is this: if we, feel like, hey, this could be something useful, we get together after a consult and get the information, and we go, you know what, your case is beyond what we can help with, or we don't specialize in your root cause of why this is happening. We're going to refer you out. We're not going to waste your time or money, and just, like I said, be honest and treat you with respect. So that's what you're going to get here. Next steps, can I share that process with you, what that looks like? I'll share our exam process and that whole protocol. That's good for you? So here we go on that one. We do our consult. Again, listen to your story. What are your goals? What are your aspirations? What does that look like? Then we do our neurological exam, all your basics, height, weight, blood pressure, balance coordination testing. We actually have a force plate where you can measure your balance and give you a fall risk score. So you actually know, are we objectively getting better or not? Muscle strength testing, similar to what we did here for Joanne, where we check to see are your balance muscles working, what's neurology doing. And then we do our 16-point sensory exam, which you're able to feel and not feel, and get an idea of how bad the nerve damage is. From there, we do our diagnostics with thermal imaging, and we do heart rate variability. It looks like this little thing you stick on your finger, non-invasive, takes about 5 minutes, and we get a report that looks something like this. This is a common one we'll see. If your blood flow is a type 5 or higher, meaning 7 is bad, 1 is the best. If you're a 5 or higher, that's when the medical doctors typically see it in their screens. We're going to refer you to cardiology to make sure your heart's in good shape. Okay, we've saved several heart attacks with this screening. Your arterial elasticity and peripheral, we need pipes that are opening up, right? So they'll let us know how much constriction might be in the blood vessels. And we get other information too, like how stressed out is your nerve system. So we get a lot of good information from that. And then with the nutritional protocols, we can usually reverse this and it's like Pac-Man that eats up all the junk in the arteries and blood vessels and gets no one's growing. We can actually reverse that score. Pretty fun to see. That one we like to see in the middle. If you're too stressed out, you're doing this. We need that in the middle so we know we're heading the right direction. That's all the diagnostics on one screen there. And then we put that information together as a team. Myself, Dr. Midgley, Leslie, a lot of you chatted with her, and we sit down and go, what is the treatment plan to get their goals back and come up with that. We give you a graph of your severity so you know where you're at, and we'll check that each time we do our re-exams to go, what's our progress looking like? And that also gives us healing time frames. If you're an acute, 6 to 9 months, you can go up into that, year and a half to 2 year range if you're in the higher categories. So that's information to go over with you. And again, like Myrna came, I invite you, anybody that's on your support team, bring them in. The more eyes, the more brains we have together on this, the better. The people that have the support are the ones that win. Hands down, they get way better results. So that's what we do on visit 2 is go over results and your financial options at that point. Okay. Everything on one slide. The total value is $875 for both visits and all the diagnostics. Okay. So that lets us know what's going on, what your plan is, how can we help. Here's what I know too. If you're like Joanne, you take a little action, you say get up here and get you some work done, you start seeing results right away. So I'm going to encourage you with that and give you two different gifts. So if you move forward, that says that can work for me. We're going to give you a fast treatment, the full 30-minute session, whether that's, it's typically the nerve stimulator we use on that one. That'll be gift number one. And the other one is 25 anti-inflammatory recipes you can start using right now to start reversing and winning with neuropathy. Okay? So, adding all that in, the total value is $1045 for both visits, the treatment, and the recipes. Okay? For spending time with us tonight, doing everything for $297. I want this to be as simple as possible to get you some answers and solutions, and we can move forward from there. Any questions on that?
You said the 2 visits, the gifts.
Yep, the 2 visits, the treatment,
And the treatment
and the recipes.
and the recipes.
Everything for $297. Okay? Realizing insurance isn't going to pick this up, I'm trying to make it as easy as pie. Okay? So, with that in mind, here's how you take advantage of that if this is for you. We have select appointments set aside for these workshops. Obviously, holidays coming up, our schedules get pretty full. If this is for you, really simple. Go check with the ladies at the desk. They're going to give you first available appointment. They'll collect the $297 to hold that exam spot and get you all the information you need and get you your recipe book emailed out to you probably tomorrow morning, to be honest. So that's that simple. And we get to go forward from there. Okay? Questions on that process? Easy peasy. If you learned something valuable tonight, awesome. Saw some cool miracles with Joanne. I would ask one other thing if you don't mind. At our front desk, there's a little QR code for a Google review. That's a huge help. If you can just give us a review. Yeah, I learned something cool tonight. Saw something fun. That's a huge help to our community. People that don't know, get to hear your side of it. And that's a really valuable tool. So I would appreciate that. Okay. Thanks for being here this evening. Go get them. Until next time. Okay? You are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the exam.
You're welcome.
Now you said the QR code was where?
That's up at the front.
Front desk?
Yeah, there's a little frame that's got that code in it. And if you wouldn't mind, give me a ring in a day or two and say, hey, I'm noticing this or not, or like how
Okay.
on your, yeah.
I have the number. I did.
Yeah, just give us a word, text us, whatever's easy.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would like to know how that worked out.
Great. Thank you.
I'd love to chat more too. I know there's more in your story background and
Good luck.
that'll be fun. Thanks for being here. Yeah, just, that's like,
Well, in Florida, I just moved back here, and I, back in Florida, I worked a lot with Parkinson's, back in the South.
yeah.
I was doing massage and strategies, red light therapy.
Yeah.
Good presentation.
That was really
Thank you,
great.
sir.
It was
Thank you.
very
Appreciate you.
helpful. Yeah, it's really helpful. So I'll be in touch.
Awesome. Okay.
So, just in that corner. Do you know Alan?
Yeah, yeah.
I just interviewed with him.
Mhm.
And in that conversation, I learned that they were so I went like,
Yeah.
so I just, the spa director, she's showing me all this amazing equipment, it was really, really cool.
Mhm.
And she's like, I'm like, this is really amazing. She's like, yeah, I'm waiting for looking for medical care. I know you have a practice, but just wanted
Yeah.
to.
Well, thanks for that. Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah, well, enjoy, thank you.
Hey, Karen. Have a good night, everybody.